country at the gateway to the Ozarks in Fairfield Bay, Arkansas. This is the Fairfield Bay Gadfly coming to you from the Flytrap Studio with episode 22-04 of the Fairfield Bay Gadfly Presents. Today, we will look at this day in history, uncover what is going on in the world, and reflect on how such happenings affect all of us. Welcome to this day in history. On March 13th, 1781, famed German-born British astronomer William Herschel discovers the planet Uranus. Which reminds me, I don't know about yours, but Sleepy Joe generally can't tell the difference between his and a hole in the ground. Internationally, we all know what the main topic of the world currently is: the desolation of Ukraine. Except in place of Smog the Dragon, we have good old Vlad Putin. As a counterpoint to Vlad, we have a young, energetic, and patriotic leader of Ukraine in Zelensky, who has echoed the ghost of Winston Churchill in his statement of, "I don't need a ride, I need ammunition." Not unlike in the time of Churchill, Zelensky's plea can be answered in a modern-day Lend-Lease program, like the one that allowed Britain to be one of the lone holdouts against Nazi aggression in World War II. We are faced with almost a mirror image of the events of 1939 in Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Pretty much the same rationale on the Russian side as was Hitler's. I truly don't know if I should say quote-unquote Russian side, because I believe the populace of Russia does not support this wanton abuse and invasion of a sovereign nation. However, through such a modern-day Lend-Lease program, the defenders of Ukraine might have a chance to repel Putin's invaders. I believe that Russia should have learned about the quagmire of a war of attrition through their experience in Afghanistan. This war is a war which will not necessarily be won by superior forces or equipment, but by patience and skillful resource management. However, Ukraine must have the resources to make such a war winnable. Zelensky has pleaded for Ukraine's membership in NATO, but has been rebuffed due to the fear of Russia by NATO countries, to include the United States. The impotence shown by most free world leaders is embarrassing to say the least, and is a death sentence to the sovereign nation of Ukraine. God save Ukraine. On a national basis, here's where the rubber meets the road, or doesn't, due to the fact that more and more people can barely afford to drive to work. The complete lack of leadership by the Biden administration concerning fuel prices is appalling. I use the term quote-unquote fuel prices due to the fact that fuel involves more than each of you going to the local gas station and filling up the family car. It involves farmers being able to afford the fuel to plant their crops this spring. It involves the commercial transportation industry being able to transport goods and people across the country. It involves how those goods get to your local grocery store. We need only look at the effects of COVID on the grocery store shelves over the past couple of years. Folks, the very real possibility of what we have seen caused by a virus is going to be exacerbated by the lack of our own resources. The Biden administration is stopping the import of Russian oil, a part of the supposed sanctions against Russia. But it goes on to hurt America at home. What is Slow Joe's administration doing about the coming inflation and supply shortages? They are secretly approaching Iran and Venezuela to buy oil to offset the loss of Russian oil? Iran and Venezuela? A part of the 21st century axis of evil? The governor of North Dakota has pointed out that the North Dakota oil wells are currently operating at 400,000 less barrels a day than before the Wu flu. 400,000 barrels a day. Not a week, not a month, but a day. And North Dakota is just one of the U.S. oil-producing states. Yet, rather than look within, the Biden administration is looking to our enemies to supply a natural resource at prices higher than what can be produced here in the U.S. My friends, such actions border on treason and should be stopped by the legislative branch. But we all know, since the cowardly House and Senate Democrats will not admit that their boy is destroying America, the U.S. ability to meet this overall resource and supply challenge will be blocked by partisan ego. What are each of you going to do? Are you going to lay back, roll over, and get the Vaseline out? Or will you at least call your U.S. House representative or senator to express your concerns? Our actual way of life is being challenged both on an international and national level. Inflation is going through the roof with an increase of 7.9% in February alone. And that does not take into consideration the hike in gas prices. I'm certainly not advocating entering into open warfare. I've seen the elephant in Vietnam and do not wish it for anyone or any country. But there are ways to not only fix our own country and economy, but to assist other countries in facing their challenges. Yet, we now have inept leaders, political egos, and stalemates on every level within our government. America, it's time to wake up, and I don't mean quote-unquote woke, and do what America does best, which is lead the world to the benefit of our citizens and their citizens in other countries. On a state level, like a line of dominoes, the effects of the Ukrainian crisis are trickling down, actually roaring down like a river after a frog strangling rain to Arkansas. Because of the rapidly rising cost of gas, the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is starting to feel the pain of a drop in sales of lottery tickets. Think about it. Currently, the average price of gas in Arkansas is $3.89, which is 56 cents more a gallon than last week, and is just 7 cents away from the highest recorded average price in Arkansas ever. If you don't think the happenings of the world don't affect you, then you haven't been paying attention. In other state news, the Ledge has passed the $75 million appropriation for the Arkansas Department of Corrections, which is good considering the competition between the cities of Little Rock and Pine Bluff vying for the crime capital of Arkansas title. Of note concerning the 30-3 Senate vote on the bill was the fact that 3 Democratic senators voted against the bill. Apparently, in addition to defunding the police, the Dems want to defund the Department of Corrections. Further, the governor wants to use between $60 to $100 million in state surplus funds to build a 498-bed addition to the North Central Unit in Calico Rock of the Department of Corrections. That's fine and dandy, but the fact that Arkansas has historically maintained a ginormous surplus over the years is just wrong. If we have a surplus like that, then our various taxes and fees should be reduced or eliminated. We all pay taxes until the day we die. It's time to consider a change to both real estate and personal property taxes. When a homeowner pays off their mortgage, there should be a sunset period of no longer than 5 years for the county and state to eliminate real property taxes for the residential homeowner. I'm not talking about commercial ventures to include short-term rentals, but mom and pop homeowners. On the personal property side, why do Arkansas residents have to pay personal property taxes on vehicles on which they have already paid sales tax? It's time to completely eliminate personal property taxes on vehicles. I mean, the state does have a surplus. Now we move to the local level. For all my listeners who don't live in Fairfield Bay, you can leave now. However, it might help to hear the happenings in small town America. The inner workings of politics, both by the city and the community club, is certainly less than transparent, and citizens and club members are the ones ending up paying the piper. On Monday, March 14th, the City Council will have their regular monthly meeting at 7 p.m., more than likely at the City Hall meeting room. If you have any interest in what goes on around you, I urge you to either attend the meeting in person or watch it on the Lake Area Weekly Facebook page. The only downside to the latter is the fact that the city, thanks to the city attorney and mayor, will no longer live stream any questions from the public. Again, less than transparent. Of course, as pointed out in previous podcasts, the city is afraid of campaigning by possible candidates for city offices during the public comment period. Let's see, is the city afraid of being accused of having politics at City Hall? I was under the impression that any city hall in any city revolved around politics. Oh, but wait. The Fairfield Bay Community Club and Resort Board of Directors has issued a resolution that there should be no local politics in club-owned buildings. So, how is it that the city of Fairfield Bay can maintain its offices in a club-owned building? If the club board of directors truly meant the resolution, then why have they not notified the city government to find new offices not owned by the club? Paraphrase from Marlon Brando's character Colonel Kurtz's final words in Apocalypse Now, the hypocrisy. On a final, lighter, and positive note, Mrs. Gadfly has unanimously been elected president of the Fairfield Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations, and I'm sure we will see more very positive steps to move Fairfield Bay forward. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in today. As I move forward with both the Gadfly podcasts and vlogs, I'll be making some changes and tweaks to ensure you know what is going on in the world, nation, state, and locally. This is the Fairfield Bay Gadfly bringing you truth from above and signing off for now.